This week, Ria and I are taking the road less traveled as we join the folks from Delta in search of Spanish treasures in the South Cricket Mountains.
Then the AYL crew is taking you out for a unique journey filled with history and adventure as we're gambling to have a great time in Eureka.
Finally, Reese and Marianne Stein are joining the Protect Our Lakes nonprofit organization as volunteers put their goals into action at Jordanelle Reservoir. It's all headed your way right now. At Your Leisure is next. You know, I think we need to change our motto.
To?
Well, instead of there's adventure around every bend, there's history around every bend. I mean, look at it.
Right here.
Yeah.
We're looking at it right behind us. Yeah, welcome to At Your Leisure, everybody. I'm Ria Rossi Booth.
And I'm Chad Booth, and we are on the edge of the Great Basin.
Yeah.
To this side of us are the mountains that lead you to I-15. To this side of us are the Lehman Caves and Nevada.
So we are literally smack dab in the middle of like the most historical little trail. And it didn't take us long to get here. We started off our trail at the trailhead, and this was literally 2 minutes ahead of us. So like as soon as you go, it's like boom, fun.
Well, you'll want to take in this view anyway. If you look off to this, look over your shoulder this way, and you'll see a little sparkly thing down there. That's our car. And so we're not that far, but that massive mountain range behind you is what you see to your west when you're driving on I-15. And there are still mountain ranges to go. It's trail number 1, and we're going to explore a portion of it today on the Cricket Mountain System.
It is fun. You know, when you're in the car and you're like, I wonder where that road goes. Well, we're on it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's find out a little bit about some of the things that are on the agenda for today.
You could spend weeks out here and never hit the same trails probably, you know, it's just. And then if you do any of the sightseeing that's out here, old mines, rock structures, if you want to climb up into any of those, there's just, you could be here for weeks and not see the same things, you know.
I do like the desert flowers that are coming out right now. We've seen some kind of unique ones that we haven't seen before.
That was blooming.
The cactus that was blooming.
Yeah.
So rare to see a cactus bloom.
That was neat to see that.
I love to get out and explore, especially places I've never been. And I love to get out with friends and family and just ride and visit and enjoy a day like today, a beautiful day. You can just go any direction and ride and ride and ride.
You know, Ria, we all go out to ride, and the purpose we go, why do we go? To get away from everything, right?
Right.
That's kind of what this place is like, because we are on a route right now. It's route number 8. It's part of the system, and yet there are parts of it that look so overgrown, it doesn't look like anybody's been here for years.
Right, but here's our trail.
Exactly. So that's just really neat part of the whole Cricket Mountain System. And then think about the variety of things.
I know. What have we passed through today? We have just got started.
Well, let's see. We were in the Old West. We were on the moon.
Yep.
Then we were traveling across the Serengeti, singing the theme from Hatari, and now we're on the Oregon Trail.
Honestly, this is just so big country out here. You really do feel like you're from the Old West.
Yeah, well, or at least from the farm in Illinois.
Yeah, you know that song Ventura Highway?
Yeah.
Chewing on a piece of grass, walking down the road. This is how you feel. It's freedom out here.
We're gonna keep walking down the road. You go to this week's Where To. Come on, let's get back to the song.
Just outside the historic town of Eureka, Utah, there's trails that can take you through a fantastic variety of terrain, from sweeping vistas to forested tracks.
Oh, lovely, lovely Eureka, right? It's been sandy, if you can't tell by the look of me, but just doing some beautiful riding, gone on long trails, spent the last 5 or 6 hours out here, getting dirty, having some fun with friends and family. So
Lots of room to get the tires rolling through these diverse and beautiful landscapes.
We're fairly high up in the mountains right now, a lot of pinyon, not much cedar up this high. As we go over the pass and head back down to the valley, it's going to be pretty much desert. So there's, it's a good change of scenery, different riding conditions. It's pretty varied. It's a great place to go ride.
There are plenty of relics from the past to intrigue explorers, all while enjoying the great riding options nearby.
The crazy thing about Eureka is at one moment you can be shifting through trees whacking your vehicle, and then the next minute you're wide open space. There's sand dunes not even an hour ride away from here. So the nice thing is it's a little over an hour from downtown, from the city. You come out here, you get away from the city, the hustle bustle, and you can ride out here in the forest, or you can go an hour to the sand dunes.
Besides the great quality off-roading, there's the constant reminder of being surrounded by an interesting and fascinating past.
There's so many things to see. It's very, very diverse. The old mines, just the historic value of the town. There's so many old buildings, and we love having people come just to see what it is and how much we love to live here. It's a joy.
If you are wanting to learn more about the old mines, the museum is a treasure trove of information.
Well, Eureka is kind of based on mining. So most of the stuff around here is related to mining in one way or another. You can see by the ore cabinets, there's a lot of minerals in the area. They discovered almost every kind of mineral you can imagine here except coal and uranium. Most of the mines made their living off from silver and lead. Galena, which is a mixture of silver and lead. This is probably the most popular item in the museum. This is a carbide miner's lamp. This is calcium carbide. It goes in the bottom tank. The top tank is just common tap water. Watching that water hits that carbide. That's making a settling gas. But to light it, you have to catch the gas in your hand. It's concentrated.
With so much to enjoy, in town and out, it's plain to see why the residents are so proud of the area.
Our families and friends and that, we're all a part of the history of this town. So we enjoy that people come here and respect it too.
And Eureka is well equipped to deal with those who don't.
You got a bail bondsman on speed dial?
For this week's Where To, I'm Terry Wood.
This week's What's New is brought to you by Tunex. Got a vintage vehicle? We've got your repair. Tune-ups, carburation, points condenser, we do it all.
Hi everyone, welcome back to At Your Leisure. My name's Brett Pennyfather and I'm a field producer for the show, and I'd like to introduce to you one of my favorite pieces of new equipment, the X Dynamics Evolv 2. I've really been enjoying this drone. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger than the average drone we use on our shoot. There's basically this really big camera. It's a micro Four Thirds sensor. Not only are the lenses swappable, but so is the camera. This camera can shoot 4K up to 120 frames per second. A lot of the time when we're shooting out there, it's in harsh light conditions, meaning that we have really bright sunlight and a lot of shadows. And I find that this camera can really bring out the detail in those shadows and highlights. The camera just seems to perform really, really well. I flip it over there, you can see it has carbon fiber body, incredible strength to weight ratio. Underneath it has this magnesium alloy. The magnesium alloy body has been chosen because it also acts as a heat sink. So this drone doesn't really have a fan or anything like that to cool it. Compared to a lot of other drones on the market, it's also relatively water resistant or weather resistant. And that makes me happy, not because I'm going to be flying in the rain, but we fly in a lot of dust. And I think that lack of a fan sucking air in is going to be really helpful with not bringing too much dust up and into this drone. It's got some really nice, powerful, big motors that seem to work really well in the wind. And then we have this battery at the back, and that's where you'll turn it on and off. They're rated for about 33 minutes, which is, you know, it's great. I think a lot of these ratings are done in a setting where there's no wind or anything like that. But I find I've been getting about 25 minutes even on a relatively windy day. And that's making sure I can get it back safely. The only negative I've found is that it doesn't actually have obstacle sensors. They're there, they're built in, but that hasn't been applied yet. I don't really rely on sensors or automatic settings that much. I really do like to think about where I'm flying and the shots I'm getting. I know a lot of cars have lane sensors and stuff like that, and I hope people aren't relying on those too much on the roads and rather using their better judgment to put their equipment where it needs to be. So another thing that's pretty unique about this drone is this ground station. It's really handy because you don't have to use your phone. It's got 2 screens. It's set up to do is this will be your visuals from the camera, and then down here you can get the information of the map where you are, a weather forecast option. You can see how hard each of your motors are working. There's a battery information, how your batteries are looking. It's one of my favorite things about this drone is actually the controller. The drone comes in this super convenient little backpack. Everything has a place. Nice foam casing to protect it. That's super handy because we travel by off-road vehicles a whole lot. It can bounce around in there and doesn't seem to have any issues. So in my opinion, the lack of autonomous features and the size of this drone are offset by the awesome camera quality. I hope you found this little bit of insight into the X Dynamics Evolv 2 helpful. There'll be more at your leisure in a moment.
You know what? That lizard knows everything.
Yeah, but he's not talking.
No, because he's got a forked tongue. I love him.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are riding on. Where are we, Ria? This is.
We're at Cedar Mesa Pass, right off Route 6 or on Route 6, and this is really beautiful up here. I wouldn't be climbing this rock, even though it's really cool, because it's like razor sharp.
Yeah, I don't know what this stuff is made out of, but it would hurt to skin your knee on.
Lord have mercy. I would not want to be like hanging around this rock.
Anyway, the reason that we're stopped here and we're staring at a blank wall of rock is that we ran into a friend of ours last night before we came out on the trip. And he said, well, if you're going down on the South Cricket Loop, you need to look for this cave. And he described it. And he said there's an outcropping. It used to have a Spanish cross on it, and it juts out off of a mountain ridge, and just below it will be a cave. It's not very big, but it's a cache for the old Spanish explorers, and they would leave stuff and trade with each other.
That's so cool. Well, you know what? We can't find it. We've been looking for it, but that doesn't mean you can't find it if you all come out here and try to discover a lot of really cool stuff out here. Very historic.
Yeah, so if you want to do the At Your Leisure mic drop, come out here and explore, find it, take a picture of it, give us a pin drop, and send it to us, and then you'll show us up.
No kidding.
Well, right now let's find out some of the other reasons that people ride out here.
We are a small community, but we do have, you know, most of the amenities that you need as far as restaurants and grocery stores. If you stop and get your gas and your groceries or whatever as you're making your way out here. And there are a couple of motels and stuff too if you want to stay the night. RV park that I know he really kind of caters to the UTV riders, and I think he tries to get groups to ride just out of his RV park.
I think there's an allure to it. Makes you kind of feel like you're exploring uncharted territory maybe, or going someplace where people haven't been. And I think there's an excitement there that you're going to discover something new or that people haven't been to for a while.
You'll see side-by-sides going up and down the streets all day long. People will take their side-by-side to the store instead of their car. And a few years back, we did make it legal, so we didn't want people just dragging up and down Main, but anywhere in town, you're legal. Even if you're on a machine that's not street legal, our sheriff's department won't bother you.
You know, it's very interesting, these trips that you take out here in the desert. You know, you drive through some cool stuff, and then you see some cool stuff. And then you say, wow, can't get any better, and you drive through some more cool stuff, and then you see some. Just take a look at that vista behind you.
Isn't that fabulous?
I mean, in all reality, you can see clear up into the sands. That's probably the severe dry lake bed. And so we're looking most likely northwest.
I'm thinking that's Russia over there.
Yeah, it is. It says, you can see Sarah Palin's house on that next ridge.
It's Alaska for sure. No, really, it is amazing. And you know what else is so sweet? These adorable little flowers, all those sweet little flowers just cropping up everywhere. It's just
well,
so
just
beautiful.
Within eyesight of us, there's orange, there's yellow, and there's red.
Yep, it's sweet. Let's just have a picnic.
On the flowers?
Yeah, not on the flowers. By the flowers.
Not of the flowers. Okay.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna do lunch. You go to our Along the Way.
I'm Reese Stein at your leisure along the way at Jordanelle Reservoir, where an environmentally conscious group of volunteers is getting the place ready for the busy summer season.
We're cleaning up our lakes. We use these lakes a lot over the summer and try to make them nicer for us and everyone else to use.
Peyton and Jade Ming drove all the way up from South Jordan to help the Protect Our Lakes organization with the cleanup.
Our mission is to spread awareness about our lakes, conservation of water, just taking care of our lakes, the lakes that give us so much. Keep them clean through service and volunteerism, just spreading the word, leave it better than you found it. Today we have a bunch of volunteers coming out and we're going to do a litter cleanup around the lake. As the water levels go down, litter is found along the shorelines. There's a lot more shoreline that we have to cover today than we have in years past. But just around in the pavilions, the parking lots, where things fall out of cars or off boats or people just toss it. And so we try to get it cleaned up to start the lake year.
We found a piece of a boat and then a lot of fishing line and a split flop. There's a lot of like little things like tucked under like the dirt and like rocks, just like random stuff, and like a sandal, and we were like, how do you lose a sandal? Like,
I'm picking up garbage around the lake.
Why?
Because it's necessary. I found a bimini top from a boat and an easy up frame back over there. It's actually though not as bad as I thought it would be. I'm not finding a whole lot of little garbage.
Even so, the volunteers bagged up lots of stuff and filled park dumpsters. What are you finding?
All sorts of crap.
A little bit of everything. I found a couple canopies that were buried in the sand so deep you can't pull them out.
Lots of bottles and glass cans.
And some odd solar radio or something.
On the bucket hat.
Walkie-talkies. A little bit of everything out here.
Protect Our Lakes was founded several years ago by concerned boater Randy Casper. The group also pays for and maintains trash bags, dog waste bag stands as well, and live feed cameras around the marina.
Live cameras, and there's 5 of them. So it's really to give conditions of the lake. So it's really just looking down here to see what the traffic's like, out by the gate to see if you want to stand in line for 30 minutes or an hour to try to get in.
The camera feed is available on the Utah State Parks Jordanelle website. Protect Our Lakes is paying for it all with much needed voluntary contributions.
So glad that they have a group like this that put this up so that we could see it and be able to get out here. I mean, it's worth almost an hour drive to get out here to be able to help and clean up the lake so that we can enjoy it for years to come.
As a reward for their efforts, the volunteers were treated to a hot grilled lunch with all the trimmings.
And just giving back to the lake that gives us so much through the year.
Reese Stein at your leisure along the way at Jordanelle Reservoir.
Okay, here we are. It's like middle of June towards July, drought year, and I still see snow on the mountains, so it can't be all that bad.
Unbelievable.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are out on the Cricket Mountain Trail System with some of our friends from Delta, Utah today.
Yeah, and this system is huge, isn't it? I mean, how big is this?
Well, I mean, Cricket is probably comparable to Conger. There's also the Wawas further south, and then there's the Amasa Basin, which is pretty small, but
yeah,
you know, that's the whole point. We have just been on a small portion of one of the 7 West Desert systems, and 4 of them are within access of Delta as a base camp. So
yeah,
you got a whole summer's worth of exploring to do here, or save it for the shoulder seasons and come up here in the fall and the winter.
Oh gosh, really. And you know, the guys weren't kidding. The locals were saying there's still grass running down the middle of these trails. It's a trail,
yeah,
but you can tell there's not a whole lot of folks that come out here, and this just reminds me of big Montana, big sky. I mean, just giant mountains on either side.
She did get a little confused because we were driving through some of them today. She said, God, that rock formation, where's Kevin? Is that Kevin Costner
that
over
rock
there?
formation looks like Kevin Costner. That tree looks like Kevin Costner.
Well, we also mistook some rocks on a hillside for wild horses, but that's, you know, that's the way we are.
Yeah, no, it's just beautiful. It's just a great place to explore.
Let's have you explore next week's show.
Next week, Chad and I are getting the AYL Jeep out for some full-size off-roading as we join the Lone Peak 4x4 Club for a one-of-a-kind ride from Enterprise to Pine Valley.
Man, that is full of history. Then the AYL crew is keeping the theme of full-size rides alive as they venture out to a great Jeep trail outside of Moab in hopes of striking it rich on the Golden Spike Trail.
Finally, we're getting an inside look at another legend of the trail as we find out how Nolan Steadman got his start in the industry and engineered his family business into one of the top OHV dealers in the state.
Yeah, we've had absolutely a wonderful time with the people from Delta. The mayor showed up. We got Travis Stanworth here, who was our tour guide today and took us on a lot of really interesting side trips.
Oh yeah, very.
And we still are in search of the cave.
Yes.
So, you know, help us out here.
Absolutely. This is just a beautiful trail. The town, these guys are awesome. The people are wonderful. It's just, you really feel like you're just filled with like, what's that? Let freedom ring?
Yes.
When you're out here, it is. You just feel so free and fabulous. It's wonderful.
We're letting Ria ring right now.
I'm taking over the whole show.
Well, as you always say, remember, there is adventure around every bend.
You just got to get out there and create your own adventure
at your leisure.
In Delta.
Yep, Ria, have some water.
I'm going to kill you.